And welcome everybody to another Intent Company Live. It is Thursday, February 15th, and we're doing it again. We got some more content to share with you, some more ideas on how to thrive. Talking about how to help entrepreneurs thrive. Thrive in your business, thrive in your marketing, sales, family life, faith, all the stuff. So, thanks for joining again. We are in our fifth week somewhere. I forgot what number we're at. 20-something. It's going good. And today, we're going to dive into 7 ways that you can improve your brand's reputation. So reputation management is really important. It's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. Like we hear, reputation management. It means a lot of different things to different people. But basically, what do people think about when they think about your brand? And how do they respond to your brand? And how do they share what they believe to be? What's the reputation of your brand? So what can you do to improve the reputation of your brand? That's what we're going to dive in on today. But you guys can do me a favor and really help us out by liking, sharing, clicking, doing all the things.
Hey guys, welcome back. And make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and make sure to hit that bell for notifications.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Braden. So help us out. Put in a comment, do a share, do the things, engage with the content, and it'll help us get it out to more people. So also want to go over with our 75 lives. We got kind of our little intro that we're doing, our things we're offering during the 75 lives. And we are offering our Focus and Fire workshop. So this is our flagship workshop. We're giving this for 90% off. So, we've never discounted it below $2,000 ever before, but for the 75 days that we're going live, we're reducing it 90%, and then we're taking all of the proceeds from the workshop sales, and we're giving it to Feed the Hungry, a really great organization. So you get a chance to be a part of that. Also recommend you follow us on social media. We're at Intent Company on your favorite channels. You're probably watching this on social media, so you found us already somehow. But if you go to intentcompany.com/live, you got links to everything there, as well as some personal links to some of my social media as well. Also want to recommend that you take our customer journey assessment. And so this is a great tool to get your customer journey power ranking. You'll see how well you're doing at delivering an amazing customer journey through the entire path to purchase. Get a bunch of free tools and good trainings when you take that. We also have our Intent Company group. So this is our private community group. You get basically a private social network. You get access to a bunch of free trainings, templates, all kinds of cool stuff. As I've been mentioning all week, we also have launched this in your favorite iPhone, Android app store. So just do a search for Intent Company Group, and it'll pop up. So make sure you check that out. And lastly, we have our WOW Campaign Blueprint. And so our WOW Campaign Blueprint, I can speak, is the tool to help you turn your customers into raving fans. So what do you do? What do you do after you get a customer that turns it from a meh experience to an amazing experience? And WOW experiences, that's a major part of actually increasing your brand's reputation. And so we've got a 75-page PDF, a 30-minute training, bunch of stuff in there to help you develop brand advocates, learn more about brand advocacy marketing. So go and check it out. So we're here, we're live, we're doing it again, and we are talking about 7 ways to improve your brand's reputation. So before we dig in on kind of just some ideas, some strategies, some things you can test, I want to talk about brand reputation just in general, right? So you might think, brand reputation isn't that important to me. It's I'm not that big a brand, or I work with, a certain situation. So, the word brand reputation, or what we see, if you're doing Google searches for brand reputation, you're going to find a bunch of software that, manages reviews and different things like that. And we actually have, that's one of the elements of our all-in-one, our Intent Company app, which we did a demo of this week. And it is brand reputation. So you can see the reviews that are coming in. Are they positive? Are they negative? Get an idea to get the feedback. And, and all these reviews, they get pushed to Google My Business. And, as your reviews, I think they changed the name of it. I always call everything by the old Google names. because they change their names like every 6 months. So whatever they call Google My Business now, but we update the reviews. You get your star ratings, you get the reviews in there, and that obviously impacts things. Local SEO is impacted off of it. If you you go to someone's page and you get a 2.7 rating, do you think that's going to help someone convert? No, right? So all of this does apply to that, and that is the typical phrase when we talk about brand reputation these days. That's kind of what a lot of it means is reviews and your ratings and things like that. So everything I'm going to talk about definitely does impact that. But if you've been listening to me for any length of time, you hear me talk a ton about brand advocacy, right? And basically a customer that buys again and again, that leaves these positive reviews and then tells everybody about you. So you got to really think their propensity to do that kind of activity, right? The propensity for a customer to do advocating activities of whatever kind is actually really based off of, their relationship with you, right? If there was a thermometer of the relationship they have with you, the amount of trust that they have with you, and that's really your brand's reputation, right? And so it's that individual relationship scaled across many different, relationships, many different customers, and then their basically outward expression, right? An outward expression is a review. If somebody clicks on 2 on a star review, or a rating rather, puts a 2. That's them communicating their thoughts about what they think of you. If someone puts words down and leaves a review, what they think in those reviews is a representation of their thoughts about you. But that happens supernaturally, organically, right? So in conversations, in certain things, if somebody does buy something from you, does a service from you, if they don't come back to buy anything from you again, that says something about what they think about you, right? Or if they engage with you in some way and then a week later they send 3 people, that says something, right? It's funny in this, I need to get Dr. Herb in here. I need to get Dr. Herb to do an interview with him. Dr. David Herb Family Wellness. I always use them as an example because they're like, to me, I'll be honest, when I go into their practice, I'm like, man, I want a business like this. Just everything just runs so well, and it's such a great community, and there's so much. It's such a great experience, and they do an amazing job at customer service, customer experience, their brand reputation, their ratings, all that stuff. They do such a great job, and I remember for us, we went. And I think within the first month, we referred like 5 other families to come, right? That must say something. If we felt so compelled to bring so many other people to come in, that says something, right? And obviously it's my excitement about that particular brand. And you have that. Like we're talking about building brand advocates and brand reputation. So we're business owners in the relationship with us, but even you as a business owner, you are an advocate for other brands. There's brands that you engage with. There's brands that you're sold out for, whether it's, brands that manufacture things or service brands, or, you got your car guy, you got a certain place you get your hair done, like all these different things, the place where you're like, I love this person or I don't. And that reputation is something that we share. It's also important to note that people natural human tendency is to actually share more of what they're against than what they're for. Right? If you had a really bad experience somewhere, right? People are more apt to share that bad experience, unfortunately. Don't want to label everyone as negative and all that, but that tends to happen. So it's even more difficult to get people to go goo-goo over what you're doing, your products, your services, everything that's happening. And so you got to be super intentional. And so, advocacy, all the stuff we talk about is all wrapped around that. But today specifically, we want to talk about what are some of the other components? Not the automation, not the technology, not the way you write an email, not the video you send at a very specific time, but like the principles, the kind of process and the way that you do things that creates a better brand reputation. All right, so let's start with number 1. understand your audience. So this is something that we cover a lot in the Focus and Fire workshop, right? I talk about this quite a bit, that if you think about it, your brand has a unique value you provide to the world, and then there's people who need it most, right? And so you've got to understand both of these dynamics because it makes it a lot easier, right? Like if the way that you operate, the value that you add, even the personality of your brand, if it matches up really well with the needs and the personality and the expectations of your customer, you're automatically going to have a better brand reputation. Like you actually, I bet if you did this, if you're a business that has like a bunch of reviews, go and look through the negative ones. And if you know the people who are leaving them or their experiences, I bet most situations the problem was they just weren't really your ideal customer. What they were looking for was not matched by what you deliver. Because if you think about it, it's really an expectation thing. All of this is an expectation thing. So there's a customer that approaches you, they have an expectation. You as a business have an expectation. You're going to provide said services. There's a certain cost. There's a value. So everybody has these expectations. When expectations are not met, there's issues, and it manifests in many different ways, right? So loss of business, bad reviews, whatever you want to call it, poor reputation. But if the expectations are met, kind of neutral, right? There's, certain activity. Maybe it's not negative posting of anything, but there's like no posting of anything. But when you exceed someone's expectations, right? When what they were expecting, what they thought, you wowed them, right? We call it our wow campaign blueprint for a reason. Why? Because you want to wow your customer. He's like, whoa, this was better and more than I expected. And that's a fantastic way to super boost reputation. But that means that you need to understand your target audience. You need to understand who they are, what they want, their personality, their expectations, and then meet those expectations, right? So, this is where like focus groups, surveys, things like this could be really good to understand what are the expectations? What do they expect? Look around at other businesses that have great reviews. What do they do? How do they receive, how do they meet someone's expectations? And then think about it. How can I, out of the unique way that our business is, how can we wow? How can we be more? Now, again, this is the thing too, though. You don't want to be everything to everyone because then you end up being nothing to everyone. You need to figure out really what is the thing that you're going to do better than anyone else, and then go be better than anyone else, and then attract the right person to you that actually is going to meet and exceed those expectations. And in some ways, you should kind of repel those that aren't the right fit. Like for us, like we really focus on purpose-driven brands. Like the way we market, everything we do, customer journey, experience, all this stuff, like you actually have to care about your customer to click well with us. You actually have to really care about like serving people and solving problems. If you do care, like if your business is more than just making a buck and you feel like you have an impact and an influence and an opportunity, kind of do that, then we're going to be a good fit for you. If not, you're going to see us as probably too excessive in certain things, maybe too expensive because you spend time doing this where you could have just done that, cutting corners. Like we're just not going to be a good fit for you. So understand your target audience, understand you, and understand that connection. And that's just if you serve the right people, you're going to see that your reputation boosts tremendously and you have better relationships, better engagement. All right, number 2. Consistently deliver quality. So again, this goes back to expectations, but you've got to decide what is your level of delivery. Like how are you going to meet the expectation? What type of service are you going to provide? We talk to quite a few brands in like the home services realm. And with home services, you got people coming, you got your techs, you got your workers, whoever coming into people's homes, into people's domains, right? And so there's the little things that make a big difference. For instance, if you got like you're a home service business and you got people that enter in the home, walk through the house, do they put the little booties over their boot or not? Well, you're going to decide what level of quality you're going to go. Because I'll tell you right now, is somebody is, who owns a home and has, nice place and has people coming in, and, that's a difference that really matters when somebody does something like that. So you got to understand. So for instance, if you're going after like a higher end customer that maybe has like, nicer things and more expensive stuff or whatever, are you matching, going back to number one, number two, are you matching the expectation of the person with the quality that you deliver? Now, you got to have there's another side to that. If you're going to be more of like a price centered, which again is not what we recommend. We recommend being a quality brand, not a price driven brand. But you got to figure out where you're at, who you're serving, and are you delivering, or I would say even exceeding the quality of what you perform. The work that you do, does it meet a certain expectation? And that could be, again, the work you do, that could be in the communication, that could be in the accessibility of your brand. All of these things are part of delivering your package. And when you, again, exceed those expectations, reputation goes up. When you don't meet those expectations, it goes down. And so that's another thing too, is not only can you do surveys, talk to your customers to get an idea of what the expectations are, but you can even define expectations, right? So this is another thing that's really important. And it actually, this actually is part of the number 3. So I'm going to put these together. Number 3 is be transparent and honest. Okay. So one of the reasons why being transparent and honest is so important, because it sets expectations, right? And you can be transparent and honest through the whole process. So what's one of the worst things that can happen in a relationship, a business relationship, any relationship? But you set an expectation. You say that an expectation's up here, but you go down here, right? Sometimes you call that like a bait and switch, or you oversell your products and services, but you're not actually committed to delivering it. That's going to be terrible. You're going to have a negative experience, right? But what about if up front, when you say, hey, Mr. Customer, it costs X and we're going to deliver Y, but at the end of the day, you go above and beyond and give them Z. You do Y plus, right? So one, you're being transparent and honest about these are the things we're going to do for you. And you make it super plain. Like just, we're going to do this. These are the expectations. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're expecting from you from a cost perspective, from a time and effort, or whatever. You get really transparent and honest, and then you go and you deliver, or even better, you over deliver. So you can see how these all tied together. Now, the other side of being transparent and honest is when you mess up. Okay, mess ups happen. Things don't go the way you want them. It is very important to be transparent and honest. Mr. Customer, this happened, that happened. We're sorry. We're going to make things better. We're going to do ABC 1, 2, 3 to make it better. Be transparent. Be honest. I say this a lot when I'm talking with clients. We're dealing with like reviews. We talk about Net Promoter surveys, things like that, right? Somebody does a review or a survey that's negative. How do you deal with that? You got a couple choices. You could be defensive, right? And that's an immature approach, to be defensive. And you say, oh, well, the customer did this and they didn't even do that, and blah, blah, and you get all, puffy. Maybe, I've seen literally clients that then start commenting back on other reviews, arguing with customers. Dude, that is one of the worst possible things that you could do. So not only are you not taking responsibility, but you're getting in an argument with a potential customer. When customers read that, who's going to want to work with you in the future? Right? Who's going to want to be part of an argumentative conversation like that? Like, don't do that. Right? But if something negative happened, how about you go and engage? What happened? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's make it better. We'll do this. We'll do that. In fact, some of your best customers could have been customers that there was an issue with, but you came in and over-delivered and saved the day after an issue. And that even is an opportunity for even better relationship, because they're like, man, these guys really stepped up and did it. And so be transparent, be honest, deal with it up front, deal with negative situations that way, treat your staff that way, expect your staff to deal with your customers that way, create a culture of honesty. All right, number 4, way to build your brand's reputation. Engage with your customers. engage. So this is, I've kind of, mentioned it a couple different times, but it's kind of hard to know engage reputation if you're not having some level of engagement, right? So obviously having a way where people can leave reviews, people can leave feedback, leave ratings, leave comments, online things, having, digital stuff that you can do to get feedback. That's great, right? Where applicable, have human involvement, teach your team to engage. How's everything going? What's going on? What's happening? Like, get feedback, engage. And this is where too, like one of the things that we talk about in advocacy marketing is developing a community, right? Like having a community where people are engaging. Maybe you're even doing like community events. I was talking to a client yesterday, and they were talking about all the different community things that they do. So they'll just do cool stuff. Like they'll get their staff and their team to go and like clean up a park, or like go do something fun, or hold a blood drive, or do something, nothing even around their business. But it's a way to get FaceTime with customers and with their business. And it's just a great way to create community and connection, but it's also a way to engage. So you got to think, the deeper the engagement, like the deeper the interactions, the more consistent, the more intimate they are, that's going to deepen your relationship. It's going to expose issues, but then it's also obviously going to boost the reputation. It goes from being like, I got a customer, to like part of the family. And that's obviously a huge a huge aspect of advocacy and positive reputation, all those things. So make sure you engage with your audience, however is relevant for your business. So number 5 is like that. And it's build strong relationships. So kind of merging these together. You can see how all of this stuff kind of fits in together. So build strong relationships. So that's where, again, if you are going to be a digital, online, or more remote aspect, you're going to have a harder time building relationships than if you have some kind of FaceTime. So, do your customers have a way to connect? Even little things. Like let's say you could have a call and you could just be like a phone call. What if you could just do like a screen share, like a FaceTime kind of call? Even if it's like not necessary, if you can make that an option available, you get eye-to-eye contact. You get to see each other. You get to talk. It's a deeper way of creating a relationship, right? So do you provide those kind of options? Do you have random check-ins where you're touching in with your clients? You're just calling them out of the blue. You're, kind of connecting with them in different ways. So that's a super important part of this. So the more connection, more long-term relationships, deeper connections you can do, it's definitely going to boost your reputation. So the other thing too is how could you incentivize or create more experience for these relationships, right? So like, do you have some kind of like loyalty program, VIP type experience? Again, this might not be appropriate to everyone, but, put together some kind of event and invite your best customers, get your best customers together. Who's spending the most money, who sent you the most reviews, or, all kinds of referrals, rather, all kinds of different things that you can do to kind of develop a deeper relationship. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of bigger, not even necessarily bigger, but a lot of like companies will do conferences, right? So like you might have a software company or something that does their annual conference, right? Like I used to go many years ago. I used to always go to MozCon, right? So if you don't know, Moz is an SEO software. They're out of Seattle, and every year they had MozCon, right? So like they sell software to help people do search engine optimization. Every year they create a conference, and you had to pay. Like it was not cheap either. You had to pay to go to the conference. You flew in, but they'd have all these speakers, and they'd do, they'd have food and this and that. It was like a 3-day event. It was a big deal. And obviously that only attracted the deeper, because you're paying to go be a part of that relationship, but it's drawing in deeper relationships. And what you get to see the people who work there, you get to talk to your account manager, you have like business review meetings, things like that. So, maybe, you're maybe not in a position to hold an annual conference and host 1,000 people, but could you host 10 people for dinner? Could you have your 20 best customers for an outing or an event? Or again, going back to my chiropractor, I think it's like at least once a month, they just do a dinner thing, and you get to invite other people to come and ask the doctor questions and do different stuff. And it's just a really cool way of creating that community. All right. Number 6, like this, but a little bit more altruistic. I kind of mentioned it a little while ago because, again, all of these things affect each of them. Number 6 is give back to the community. So how could you, creating this kind of community aspect, but make it where it's not self-serving, right? I'm not asking you to look at my business and buy things from me and even engage in that way. Like, how could you use your influence in the marketplace, in your area, with your customers to go and do good? Okay, so, like I love the verse in the Bible that says, much is given, much is required. Right? So as a business, you've been given a lot. You haven't been just given revenue. You haven't just been given influence over employees and customers. Like, you have an impact in your sphere, right? So how could you leverage that impact to do good? What kind of things could you go and do? Could you, do a food drive? Could you get clothes for the homeless? How could you do, any kind of events or participating in different things where you can just like serve people and just do it to serve. And then you encourage your customers and your team to come alongside and do it with you, that you guys get to go and do good. Now, if there's ways that your business could even support a greater good, like for instance, I had a dentist who was a really awesome guy, and he would go on missions trips, but he would go do dental mission trips. So he would get all the gear, he'd get people together, he'd have some of his clients want to go with him, and they'd go with a team, go to like Cambodia and actually go do free dental service and go help people that are in real pain. So like he was using his gifting and his skill and the unique thing that he has, but he was doing it in a completely altruistic way, just to serve people, just to go out there and do good stuff and bring people along with him. And that is a really cool way to create community. It's just a really cool way to do business. It's just a really cool way to do life. When you're out there serving, giving back to the community, one of the things that we do is, we have some of our trainings and some of our tools, and oftentimes when I'm meeting aspiring entrepreneurs or we're doing certain things, we'll give them, some of our content, some of our trainings for free. That's, another way to give back. Is there a way, like if there's population that maybe, is a little underserved or doesn't have as much money or doesn't have things, what way could you just pour out some love and just kind of support your community, bless them, give them something, help them out? By you pouring into your community, as you sow, you reap. What you make happen for others, God makes happen for you. So what could you do to go and bless the community and do it alongside your team, do it alongside your customers? All right, number 7 way to improve your brand's reputation. It's kind of coming full circle. It's kind of what I talked about in the beginning. And it is to actually manage and monitor your reputation. So again, the Intent Company app, this is one of the main features that we have, is with everybody that comes in, they have an opportunity to leave a rating, leave a review. It automatically tracks sentiment. Is it positive? Is it negative? Build automation off of it. There's a lot of other tools out there. I think I use one personally called Brand Mentions that will just search the internet and come back to you anytime your brand name is been posted, right? Is it on different articles? Is there news? Is there different things? So you want to manage, you want to look at it. Now, again, it's not the most perfect rating of how much people like you, depending on like the reviews and the ratings that they go, but it's a measurement. It's a marker. There is some data point that you're getting that says, okay, we're getting more positive reviews since we did things. And so I think yesterday we did split testing. Think about that. If you get your customer satisfaction rating through like your survey and you're getting like an 8.5 or something, right? What could you do to make it better? right? Maybe you do a more personal touch. I talked about putting the booties on the boots so you don't track any mud in, right? What kind of finishing touches could you do on a project? Maybe you give somebody a free gift, or you go the next step. You have somebody personally call and make sure everything was okay. Like any of these ideas that we said, you can actually track and see like how well did that perform, right? We've been doing it this way for a long time. And now we're going to do this intentional step to improve our brand reputation, to improve our connection. And then we're going to, go and see what the results are after that. So it is important to monitor. It is important to look at the data. Again, if that's one of the tools we have in our app. You can check it out on intentcompany.com. You can check out the app. That's one of our 29 different features to help you with your sales, marketing, automation, all that stuff. But pretty much to summarize, how do you deliver a great reputation? Just be cool to people. Know what they want. Over deliver. Don't make bigger promises than you're going to deliver on. Be clear about your promises. Over deliver. Listen. Learn. Be transparent. Just do cool stuff for people. It's going to be a good way to do things. And so brand reputation definitely has a massive impact in your business, especially if you're like a service business, local service business. I mean, it. The reviews, the ratings, the things like that on Google My Business, it impacts local SEO, it impacts buying decisions. It's not just like this kind of, this is a do-good kind of thing. It has a monetary impact in your business as well. And you're being cool. So definitely something you should go after. If you are committed to developing brand advocates, it's absolutely something that you need to focus on. You need to be intentional about. So these were the 7 ways that you can improve your brand's reputation. I'm sure there's a bunch more out there. Leave some comments, leave some ideas, other ideas that you have for doing that. Love to hear back from you. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching today. This was another Intent Company Live. We will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time, wrapping up the week. So it's Billy Robbins with Intent Company. I appreciate you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow.